red carpet at the Winter Film Festival with Jalen Vasquez, who is part of the Filmmakers Union. Freelancers Union. Sorry about that. Hi, Jalen. Nice to meet you. Tell us about tonight's event and your experience here at the Winter Film Festival.
Yeah, so we're here tonight, pretty much leading a networking event for freelancers and filmmakers. We did lead a panel earlier today for the Winter Film Fest, which was great, just about how to survive as a freelancer, just because with the nature of filmmakers, whether if they're cinematographers, writers, VFX artists, actors, they are technically freelancers receiving 1099s. So what we do at the union, we try to help educate members to pretty much either take their business to a next level, know things, what to look for in contracts, how to save up for retirement, how to do all the business finances, pretty much shifting the creativity aspect to that business mindset. So we try to help our members in that way, and we're just here tonight hoping to meet some members, maybe potential members too, if they'd like to join.
I'm gonna talk to you after this.
It's completely free to join, which is always great, and it's like we have our own workshops as well. We have a co-working space in Sunset Park. Yeah, and like while our offices are located in Brooklyn, we are a nationwide organization. We also try to help pass laws to help protect freelancers. So like New York was the very first city, first and foremost, that passed a law. It just extended out to New York State recently. That's in effect now. And then because of that, other states and cities are starting to kind of take a note from that. LA just passed theirs. Whole state of Illinois has their own law. Seattle has its own law. So we're hoping to pass something federally to help freelancers nationwide to get paid.
That's awesome. I mean, this is very helpful. I was trying to get here to get to that talk today, but I'm glad I found out about it now, and we will definitely talk after.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you get involved personally?
With the Freelancers Union, I originally started as a volunteer myself. We have essentially monthly networking events in different cities. It's half a workshop, half networking events, and when I was starting to freelance myself, just kind of looking in the industry, I ended up picking up a book about freelancing, and they mentioned Freelancers Union. Googled them, ended up finding these monthly events that they would throw, whether in Brooklyn or Manhattan, speak to their volunteers, and I ended up becoming a volunteer myself for their Brooklyn chapter. Unfortunately, that's no longer around, but we still have the Manhattan chapter, so they still have events. I would say it's the second or third Tuesday of the month, and usually that's at the Yard in Herald Square. So if you ever want to learn something, meet other freelancers of all industries, definitely do that. But yeah, I mean, I was freelancing part-time myself. I was working retail, just finished grad school. I was at a weird point where I was too experienced for an entry-level job and too inexperienced for something senior.
Right.
So I was
Like
in that
hybrid
weird state of limbo.
Right?
So I just started freelancing myself, doing design work, whether if it's graphic webs, and now I do more of, in addition to that, of like web, toy design and a bit of photography. So
nice.
a little bit of everything, overall creative person. And I remember, but I remember my pivot point was when I was working in retail, I went on vacation, came back, and I was just, I felt like in a different mindset where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I need something new. And then it was a case of right place, right time. Freelancers Union newsletter came out, and they just opened a co-working space. It was our previous co-working space in Dumbo.
Right.
They just opened that up, and they were looking for an events coordinator and assistant for that. So I was like, you know what, let me apply for this, see what it's like. It was part-time, so I could still do my own stuff on the side. And I was like, okay, so here's my application, here's my resume, my cover letter. And I got a call from the previous executive director who already knew who I was. I've met her several times, and she was just like, we're just going to give you this job. We're not going to interview you because we know who you are. So when can you start? So,
awesome.
yeah, so I
Talk
was
about
like,
perfect timing.
cool. I'm like, yeah,
Awesome.
give me 2 weeks. Let me put my 2 weeks notice now out of courtesy to them. But I'll start on this day, and that was it. Kind of been there since.
Well, let the audience know again, a lot of the freelancers out here and the creatives and artists and talents, how they can contact you or talk, information about the Freelancers Union, how they can reach them.
Yeah, so our website's freelancersunion.org. You can pretty much go there. It'll have everything of like the insurance that we offer, how to become a member. Like I said, it's completely free. Info about our co-working space in Sunset Park, info about our events. They're both in person and online. You just have to see which one is which. And generally, we do record every online event as well. So if you do want to sign up for it but can't attend, you'll get the recording as well for that. And then definitely follow us on social media. So for the union itself, it's at FreelancersU on both Instagram and Twitter, or now X. And then the Instagram for the co-working space is at NYC_hub. And you'll see all of our events, other updates of like days we're closed, days we have breakfast, networking events, things like that. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Jalen.
Yeah,
It's a
thank
pleasure
you.
meeting.
Hi, my name is Selma Ducanovic. I'm here at the Winter Film Awards with Tristel from Birthday Blues. So introduce us about like what you did on the film, on the short, and what that was like.
So I was an actor in the film. I was the titular guy going through Birthday Blues, and my role, I was a guy who was 26. He's hitting that place where he's not a boy anymore at all, like in any way, shape, or form. And the pressures of that are crushing him. And the film was about the notion that if we can connect with our inner child, that pressure kind of dissipates. And we can feel free to live as an adult, as a child, as a magical being. And he found this little Neverland for adults who want to just have a great time. And I haven't seen a story like that. And so when I read the script, I was so moved and excited to be part of a story that was so warm and had something to do with inner child healing. And yeah.
I think we can all relate to that feeling when you get in like your mid to late 20s and you're like, oh my God, am I getting old? And then you realize, no, I'm not even there yet. Did that like awaken anything within you in doing that role in terms of like your own age and like, you know, that sort of like, I guess you can say existential crisis?
Oh, absolutely. I went to school here in New York. You know, being from New York, growing up here in the city, a lot of your friends, they blow up, you know, like at 18, they blow up. At 19, they blow up. I went to school with Timothy Chalamet. so, you know, like, you know, literally 1 year above me, I'm watching him in school and then bing, bing. So, you know, it's pretty exciting to see that. And I'm lucky that I'm not a jealous person, but it is like, is this gonna work for me? Is this gonna happen for me? Should I still be laughing and playing as I am, or should I get serious? And that question is central to the film. And so just reading it and just receiving that script in my email, I was just like, I need to do this film. So I busted my butt and I trained for it. So yeah.
So then, what would you like viewers to walk away from when they see this short, either from your performance or the message of the film? Like, what do you want them to come away from?
More than anything, the notion that like if you haven't smiled recently, if you haven't danced for no reason recently, you're doing it wrong. There's something wrong, and you need to find your little Neverland. You need to find your people that want to see you smile. They're gonna be like, no, come on, smile for me, and pull it out of you, because that's really what I think living is about, and especially being an adult is about, having the freedom to be happy like that.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for talking with me. And if you guys get a chance to see Birthday Blues, absolutely take your chance and watch it.
Hi, I'm Christina Maria. I'm here on the red carpet at the Winter Film Festival with Ronalti. She's a filmmaker of a short film called Malti. Yes. Hi, Ronal. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
How was your experience tonight?
It was amazing. This was one of the first times that I was watching the film on the big screen, and it's like your films are like your child, and when you see them on the big screen, you always feel so happy about it.
So tell the audience the name of your film and give us a snippet about it.
The name of my film is Malti, and the main theme of the film is on infidelity. But my objective through making this film is to tell the audience that you need to give yourself a second chance. If you are in a toxic relationship, if you are unhappy in your relationship, you need to garner the courage to let go and to move on no matter how painful and no matter how difficult it is.
Wow. What was your inspiration for this story, to tell this story?
So I was deeply inspired and I felt the passion and the need to tell this story, not just because it's a relevant topic, especially for this generation, and it deserves to be told, but also because there's a Hindi word, Hindi is my language, which we speak in India, and the word is moha. Moha means there's peace in letting go. And yeah, I wanted to spread moha through my film. What really inspired me again was the fact that I lived in a bubble, and I thought that if there's love, there's marriage, and if there's marriage, it's gonna last forever. I found it very hypocritical that one can betray each other in the name of love. Like, that's hypocrisy, right? Why would you hurt someone you love? So I feel after I entered my 20s and I was in the dating circle, I realized that there's many people who are unhappy in relationships. There are many people who are unhappy in love. And this film needs to be made to give out this message that if you are unhappy with someone who is meant to be your soulmate, you need to walk away before it gets too late.
And what was the word again?
Moha.
Moha.
Yes.
And I think that goes the same for those of us where we're unhappy about certain things that we need to have peace in letting go of.
Yes.
So I like that word. It's
Thank
a very
you.
good word.
Thank
How was
you.
your experience so far at the festival?
It was amazing. I feel like this was one of the first few times that I felt represented, I felt heard. I felt like I saw so many films where women were looking like me, they were of my skin color, and there was so much good representation and really, really, really prolific storytelling. So it's been amazing.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
it's a pleasure meeting you.
Hi, I'm Selma Ducanovic. I'm here on the red carpet of the Winter Film Awards with Xenia from Birthday Blues. Talk to us a little bit about your short, Birthday Blues, what you did, and what inspired you to create it.
Okay, so Birthday Blues, Labor of Love. It's a retold fairy tale. I grew up loving the Grimm's Brothers fairy tales. It was the first full-length book that I read, and so we ended up adapting the story of the 12 dancing princesses, but I wanted to reimagine what it would be like if we based it in Harlem and in New York City. So it's really a love letter to New York City. It's a love letter to celebrating your inner child and never letting that part of you go, and also just a celebration of joy and dance and movement and the freedom that I felt when I let myself loose to dancing, like no one's watching, you know?
I did a previous interview with one of your project mates, and we talked a little bit about that existential nature of being in your mid to late 20s and not really know. You're like, am I old yet? Is this happening? Yeah. So I really feel like that your short kind of brought that out. How did you kind of feel going through that? Did you have that little bit of an existential moment, I guess you can say?
I mean, this film is basically a quarter-life crisis in a nutshell, in a 10-minute package. I am really happy to still be in my 20s, but as I was entering my late 20s, I'm 26, I was like, oh shit, sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but I was like, oh snap. Time is getting real, and there's so much pressure in the film industry of being the young star, the young director, the whiz kid, exactly. And I think that it's so important to also remember that that we can release that time pressure, and that what needs to happen will happen in due time. And also, again, as I said, celebrating that some parts of us are never going to grow up, and it's just amazing to be in touch with your inner child and making sure that we never let that little person inside of us go.
So why tell the story now? Why was it important to this moment?
I mean, my entire team and I were just ready to get our hands dirty and make a project and not just talk about a project and apply for funding. We were like, what can we make with what we have at our fingertips right now in the present. And so that was one of the reasons that we decided to put Birthday Blues together now. And then also, frankly, because as a Black filmmaker and as a woman filmmaker, I feel like a lot of the stories I kept on seeing on screen in the last 12 to 24 months, but also just in the years that I grew up, stories about Black life and Black families were always stories of trauma and of violence and of heartbreak, and those are a part of our community, but there's also this equally resilient, this equally joyful part of our community that I feel like needs to get more time on screen and be celebrated for our resilience. And I think that's, like, this is also a story of Black joy. And I was really, really happy that we got to put it out in 2024, 2025, so that we could say, hey, Black joy exists and it's out here and it's loud and it deserves to be celebrated.
Especially in this moment, and we'll leave it at that. Last question, I guess, because I know you have to go, but what advice would you give to your viewers of maintaining that connection with their inner child, with that youthful energy in their soul?
Turn the lights off, play your favorite song, and just dance like nobody's watching. Simple as that.
I love it. Thank you so much for talking with me. I loved your short. And please check out Birthday Blues any chance you get. Hi, I'm Selma, and I'm here on the red carpet of the Winter Film Awards with Sophia from You Don't Have to Like Me. Talk to us about your short, what you did on it, and what inspired you to create it.
Yeah, so my short is You Don't Have to Like Me. And I would say what inspired me to kind of like write a story like that is looking within myself, to be honest. It was a very vulnerable time for me, and it was very important that I was able to understand who I was as a person. So my short is like a statement piece, really. Yeah. So, yeah.
Something I love about your short is how you kind of included that balance, right, with parents. I also come from like a culture where it's like your parents are kind of like in charge, I guess, if you will, and you want to maintain that connection with them, but sometimes, you know, there can come those blocks between you. So talk to us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm Caribbean, I'm Jamaican, so definitely understand. It's just, you know, for me, reaching a point in my life as an adult, you got to be rebellious, one, and two, you can't allow your parents or the conservative mindset to kind of like drive you away from who you are. You know, for me growing up, it was a lot of things that I was taught that just didn't represent me and who I am today. You know what I mean? And the word normal isn't really used for all of us. Like, normal looks different. So, you know, just a lot of changes, and you have to adapt to new things. And I feel like the new generation today adapts easier than the old. So I think making stories that are trying to break barriers is what's needed.
Absolutely. And in the Q&A we just had, we talked a little bit about like the obstacles, the limitations. I know it was mostly about like funding, but I guess now that I have you here individually, what were the obstacles and limitations of creating your short with something that's so vulnerable to you, that's something that's so personal?
The limitations I had was the finances. I think that was the major limitation I had. And just like, honestly, I didn't have any. Like, just navigating the whole thing, I didn't have much of a limitation except for financially funding my project. Luckily, I had a great team. I was able to even have people on that didn't want to get paid. So like, everything was just like, you know, a stepping stone, and also just like, you know, blessing from the Most High. So,
what do you want like viewers to, when they see your film, what do you want them to walk away with? Like, what, whether it be like what message, what feeling, what sensation do you want them to kind of experience when they see your short?
that's a good question. You don't have to like me, but respect me as a woman. And as a person. Yeah.
I loved your short. I absolutely did. I think it's amazing. And I really hope everybody that watches this interview gets a chance to view it as well. It's called You Don't Have to Like Me. Is it available anywhere that people can see, like after the festival?
It's still going around the festival circuit, but after it should be on Nowness. So yeah.
Do you have Instagram? Shout out your Instagram.
Safiyah Shanir at SAFIYAHCHINIERE.
Thank you so much for talking with me.
Hi, I'm Christina Maria. I'm here on the red carpet at the Winter Film Festival, and I'm here with Veronica Caicedo.
Yes, Veronica Caicedo.
She got it. I got it too. Veronica, tell us who you're with and tell us everything about you and your purpose.
My purpose, you know, as a woman, it's always great to go out and support other women founders and who are also in the same business that we all are in. I'm a filmmaker myself. I founded and I'm the chief executive officer for the International Puerto Rican Heritage Film Festival, which this year, November, we turned 15 years old.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We're
Congratulations.
excited.
Where is your organization located?
We're located in the Lower East Side.
Oh, Elias.
Yes, that's right.
So being that this is your purpose, what was the reason to start this to begin with? Like,
to start my festival?
Yeah, to start your festival.
And like I said,
what led you to just wanting to do this?
You know, I think it's
for the
really,
Latino community.
Absolutely. You know, our festival is not just for Puerto Ricans or Latinos. It's an all people's film festival. Okay. It's an international film festival, so we accept all types of films, and the goal is to really embrace filmmakers of all nationalities who want to come and celebrate in who we are as a culture, as our heritage, and that's what we like to focus on. Especially, you know, being a filmmaker myself, I decided to create this festival so that we can go out there and really help others achieve their goals and like bring them in and open doors and screen their films where usually they're not allowed or they're not selected or for whatever reason, and here we are doing those things. So we're actually making some dreams come true.
Awesome. So what do you think about your experience here attending the film festival?
I love it. I think it's a great film festival. You guys turned 13 years old. That's amazing. Yes. That's awesome. And I know you focus on the LGBT and women filmmakers aside of all other filmmakers. I think it's great. You know, the goal is to come out and support each other's works. And who knows, maybe in the future, the Winter Film Festival and the International Puerto Rican Film Festival can come and unite and maybe do something together.
You got to talk to Stephanie about that.
Stephanie, yeah, well, she's on my list.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you. Like, being that you attended the screening, what did you think about the screenings that you saw so far?
The films were great. I went to a 6 p.m. screening of Spanish films, and they were incredible. I loved every single one of them. I wouldn't be able to say which one is better because it was so fantastic.
There's so many choices, so many great talent.
Yes. And there's like, 80-something films? So, hey, if you haven't come, you still have some time. They have 2 more days left, is it?
Yes, tomorrow and Saturday.
Yes. So come on down. It's a great film festival.
Oh. Hi, I'm Christina Maria. I'm here at the Winter Film Festival with Clara and Ali. I'm going to have them introduce you and tell you, the audience, about their film project and their experience so far and the screening tonight. Hi, ladies. How are you?
Good. We're happy to be here. I'm Clara Gallagher. I'm the filmmaker, director of Back and Forth, the music video for Ali Young's lovely single.
Yeah, and I'm Ali Young. I'm an artist and musician, and we're here to celebrate the music video Back and Forth, which we filmed last year in Belgrade, Serbia. And we're really honored to be included in this roundup of short films. We've already met and connected with so many other filmmakers tonight that we feel a really strong kinship with, and just the level of artistry and professionalism that everybody showed up tonight with was really inspiring.
Yes, and the commitment to diversity here. I mean, just seeing people from all walks of life has been amazing, and like representation is so important.
I'm glad you guys are having a wonderful experience. Is this your first time entering the film circuit?
Yes. Yeah, with this film.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
The music video was released last September, but this is its festival debut. This is its New York City debut. Yeah, and it tells the story of identity and iconography and what happens when you latch on to an image to try to save yourself, and the pros of that, the cons of that. And we really tried to wrap this up in, 3.5 minutes, and we're really proud of how it came out. The level of expertise from the cinematography to the costume design to Clara's writing and direction was really inspiring, and working with the Serbian team was just mind-blowing. We shot it in 2 days, and yeah, we're really proud of how it came out.
Yeah, and it was crowdfunded. So it was like this successful GoFundMe crowdfunding. And our biggest benefactor was a stand-in I had worked with in Saudi Arabia on a film. And Corey Campbell, shout out, man, like you killed it, yeah. And like, it's like, it goes to show, like, you never know where things are gonna come, you just gotta put out the call and it'll
focused.
be, yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's awesome. What was the inspiration for this music video?
Yeah, so I lived in Serbia for 3 years, and during that time I felt like an alien.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's like different language, different culture. It's very anti-West there, and I was there for love, so I was looking at the world through kind of rose-colored glasses, but also hyper-aware that I'm an outsider, Right. And so this whole music video was kind of a proof of concept for a feature film idea that I've been, made a treatment for and putting through going through the process on. And it was all about, this young woman losing her brother and then like impersonating, going to Belgrade on the weekends on the bus to busk as an impersonator of a like Western icon. And so and this idea of like her inhabiting another identity, trying to find herself.
Oh, wow.
And so this is just like Allie and I went to middle school, elementary school, high school together, and
You're like besties.
Yeah.
We've known each other a long time, and we grew up working on creative projects together, whether that was music or we were in band together. We made short films on camcorders in high school together, and
editing in camera.
Yes. And I actually released the song Back and Forth in 2022. And when Clara was coming up with this proof of concept, I was really honored that she latched onto this song as a way to encapsulate the themes of that film. And it's been really inspiring for me as a musician to have such a close friend listen to something that I wrote about something personal and totally different, and then bring this whole new life to the song, new story, new imagination. And now when I perform that song, I can't not think of the story we created for that music video, and it just has this whole new meaning. And so I feel like it's a really cool statement of how art and music can mean something different to everybody. So we're really excited, and I think the music video, because it is a short proof of concept, is a condensed version of this feature film. It's still vague enough that I think you can take a different message away from it when you watch it. There's themes of familial loss, as Clara mentioned. There's themes of, I think, gender identity in there too. And so it's been really amazing to hear people's responses and how it makes them feel. And often it ends and immediately you feel like, okay, I gotta watch that right over again, because there's a lot packed in there. But we're really excited to hopefully keep it moving through the festival circuit and be here at this festival.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, just let them know where they can find out more about the short. And
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Woohoo!
Hi, I'm Selma Duchanovic. I'm here on the red carpet of the Winter Film Awards with Alicia and Alicia from Girls in Trouble, the series. Talk to us about your film, your show, your series, the first episode that we screened just now, and what really made you want to create this series?
Well, Girls in Trouble, the series, the very first episode, the pilot, which we showed tonight, is called Vashti. It's about a character from the Hebrew Bible named Vashti. The show is really a mix of music and interviews and experiences from Alicia Jo Rabins, the star and my co-creator, to really give people an insight into ancient stories that are so wildly relevant to now. We had to do it. So I actually pitched her on the idea of doing this as a show because she has a musical project under the same name, Girls in Trouble, where she had made 4 albums of incredible music in the voice of women from the Torah, like ancient women who didn't have a voice then. There was certainly no, digital files, no MP4s then. There was no recording studios back then. So luckily we have Alicia Joe who really brought those to life. And so those songs really inspired me, and we'd done a feature before and we wanted to work together again, and I thought, oh my gosh, I want to make this into a series. And really it was just like, ooh, I want to do this. And then she was like, I think that's a good idea. And then here we are. So yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a musician and performer and writer, and I'm also a Torah teacher and kind of rabbi in training. And so this project is such a dream because I get to integrate all of myself instead of kind of keeping them separate and siloed. But I get to do all those things in one project with my amazing fellow Alicia as a director-editor. And our producer, Lara Cuddy, is the third member of our team. And between the three of us, we really do everything on the project. So it's a three-woman power team for sure.
So off camera, we talked a little bit about obstacles, limitations. You said it's mostly the three of you guys doing everything, and that in and of itself can be very, very, very overwhelming. So, talk to us about, what obstacles did you run into? What were your limitations, and how did you overcome that to create the fantastic series that we saw today?
I'm not that young. So carrying stuff around is hard, and it's exhausting when there's nobody to even help at all. So that was really hard. Like typically we have help and there's at least a little bit of something, people with arms, strength. So, physically pulling the whole thing off, literally the three of us, was crazy, but it was the only way we could afford to do it. So basically we had a very limited amount of money and a limited amount of time. We're like, well, we can do it all if just the three of us do it. So I had to be the cinematographer. Lara did sound, Ajo was talent, of course, and also, helping us move everything, coordinating all the interviews. I mean, we did everything. So, in fact, our friend is over there who drove us up in New York. Shout out to Michael Bull. I feel like the challenge was kind of inherent to keeping it small, but also it doesn't show. It was so nice to see it tonight and to have it feel like it was probably put together by a whole team of amazing Alicias. But it was just really the two of us and Lara. So.
Yeah, and I would say both Alicia and I come out of the music world, the indie music world, and so we've both spent many years performing, touring, booking on all sides of that industry, and really constantly drawing on that experience to just take the little bit of resources that we have and make something that's as professional and meaningful as we possibly can with it.
I think something that struck me was your songwriting. So when we kind of go through, we kind of learn about the title woman, Vashti, and like towards the end we hear that song, right? The song that's written in her voice. Talk to us about that process, because it's very it strikes you, once you learn that history after all that. So how do you go about getting into that thought process and getting into that voice and then ultimately creating what you created?
Good question. Thank you for that beautiful question. Yes, the true story is that I did a master's in Jewish women's studies right up the street, up Broadway, at Jewish Theological Seminary. And long story short, I had studied stories of women in the Torah, and they'd really come to life for me. I was so impressed with their resilience and ingenuity. They were not like shrinking violets. They were not staying in the background. They were really had a lot of agency, or took a lot of agency. When it came time to write my thesis for that degree about 15 years ago, I was like, I just don't want to write a paper where I squish them back down. But since I was a songwriter and a touring musician, my advisor very, very kindly said, maybe you could write songs in their voices, and if you annotate the songs with all the research that you did that's behind all of the lines, I can probably convince the dean to give you your master's degree. And so little did I know that would turn into one of my major creative projects, and 3 albums, and touring internationally, and now doing this wonderful project, getting to work with Alicia on a video adaptation. And the other thing I'll say is that in the Jewish tradition, creatively retelling stories, the ancient stories, is a big part of how we interact with them. It's basically like ancient fanfic. It's a very traditional thing to do. It's called midrash. There's name for it and everything. And so I sort of feel like I'm stepping into that lineage. I don't feel like I'm inventing anything. I definitely feel like I'm just bringing attention to the women characters through this traditional medium of let's put ourselves into the story and imagine what it might have really felt like.
Well, something I really love about it is there's something so beautiful about women reclaiming women of history and bringing them to the light, I guess you will, to the light of consciousness or sight, or making them visible. So I want to say thank you for creating what you created. What's the second episode? Like, who's the second episode about?
Well, the second episode is about Esther. It's a pretty powerful story. We interview Julie Seltzer, who's a scribe, a Hebrew scribe, up in, where was she, Hudson Valley somewhere? Yeah. And who else? Sonia Sanford. I should know this. I'm the editor. I've like literally watched it 8,000 times. I'm just tired. It was a long flight. So that is, we interviewed folks again, sort of the same format. We created this format that we are going to follow for every single episode. So the next episode's really, it's another character who has a really strong story. Oddly, Vashti and Esther sort of are intertwined with their story. It's similar, but not the same. So we thought we would actually take a look at them both and then split it apart.
Yeah, and I think for us, each character has like a theme that's really relatable in real life. That's something that can support us each in our journeys. And so for Vashti, it's about like honoring your boundaries, even if people in power are telling you to do things that feels wrong, like just going with what feels right. For Esther, it's having the courage to reveal who you really are and the courage to be vulnerable when it is the right moment to be vulnerable. So that's where we're headed next.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me here on the red carpet. I hope to see more of you guys for the rest of the festival. And if you get a chance to watch their wonderful series, Girls in Trouble.
Yep.
Girls in Trouble, the series. Check it out. It really is wonderful.
Hi, I'm Christina Maria. I'm here on the red carpet at the Winter Film Festival with Jarrell Bernard. Hi, Jarrell. Nice to meet you. Tell us about your experience here at the Winter Film Festival and tonight's screening. How was it for you?
Tonight's screening was amazing. I think we worked with an amazing, diverse, we had an amazing and diverse block. Love everything they stood for. Love the messages behind everything that we saw tonight. I think there was something in each film that everybody can walk away with and kind of stand firm on creative boundaries and things that matter. Oh, actually, I should say, like, we as artists set the tone when it comes to everything around the world. And I believe that we do that by way of expressing ourselves through art and setting boundaries with that, what's right and wrong. And I believe the question was asked tonight, what would we do for it? I believe this block answered that loud.
Awesome. What was your participation in the screening that was aired today?
So I am Sparky's digital manager, Sparky Tensuko. He is the director of Villain. So everything from the promo to video, everything of that matter online, that's me.
And you came and represented well.
Oh, yes.
How did you like the project, like being part of that project, that experience?
Sparky himself is an amazing person. The film itself, he wants to leave exactly what it's about, very ambiguous, but the film itself and what it stands for, if you ever meet him, you'll get the message behind it.
And how was your experience here at the film festival personally for you?
So far, it's been amazing. You guys have been very inviting. I think everybody here is very open to connect. Always love that. Everybody seems supportive of one another. And yeah, it's been all around great so far.
Awesome.
I'm coming back on Saturday.